CKNW. Well, the diabolical actions of some people on the internet involving pornography and distributing, I should say, pictures of girls who have been talked into, say, raising their tops, etc., etc. The Amanda Todd case locally comes to mind. Well, it is so diabolical, and there is so much of it, that our next guest, Dr. Charlotte Laws, is very much doing something about it. She's an author, TV commentator, executive director of a legal nonprofit, and an advocate for victims of so-called revenge porn. Why? Well, because her daughter got caught up in it. Dr. Laws, nice to have you on our show.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me just briefly what the situation with your daughter Kayla was back in 2011.
She took some pictures in her room, over 100 pictures, just some cute, sexy shots, and one of the pictures revealed her breasts, and she sent those pictures from her cell phone to her through her email and to her computer, and she had taken them in the mirror, and then 3 months later she was hacked. And the hacker was specifically looking for nude and topless pictures. He was randomly hacking into people's emails, and he took that one picture and posted it and sent it over to isanyoneup.com, which is one of the most notorious, or was one of the most notorious revenge porn websites, along with my daughter's name and her link to her Twitter page and her city and various identifying information. And so it was really a struggle to get the photo down, and that's how I first learned about revenge porn.
Were you ever in touch with the site owner?
I was. I sent him a takedown notice, which is through the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, because my daughter had taken the picture of herself, therefore she owned the copyright. But he didn't care. He was never complying with the law. In fact, when he got legal letters, he always threw them in the trash, and he bragged about that. In fact, when Facebook sent him a legal letter for, because he was using their information on his site and linking people's pages, he sent them a copy of his penis. That was his reaction to their lawyer's letter.
He was quoted as saying that he's a professional life ruiner and described his website as pure evil, making references to Charles Manson. I mean, this was a guy who just didn't care.
Right. And it's amazing, and it's very sad that he has so many followers who truly hate women and somehow get their kicks out of hurting and humiliating people.
Yeah.
Innocent, mostly women, and it's just really heartbreaking, these various tales of all these people who've been caught up in revenge porn and become victimized.
Dr. Laws, I'll get you to stand by and come back and find out more about what Dr. Charlotte Laws is doing to fight this. Stay with us here on CKNW. We're on the line with Dr. Charlotte Laws, who is, among other things, an advocate for victims of so-called revenge porn. Do you have, first of all, a website where people can go and look at more of your story, your daughter's story, and your experience, because it's an amazing story. Where can they go?
Well, you can go to to read the story about our experience. It's on exojane.com, and it's also on jezebel.com.
Okay.
So those two websites carry that story.
All right.
If someone wants to get involved and help the cause, they can go to cybercivilrights.org.
Tell me what you're doing and what you've done to try to fight back against this kind of activity.
Well, we've been working on legislation. I mean, that's what I've been mainly focusing on, is trying to get various legislators to pass laws. And Senator Anthony Cannella brought forth a law in California, and it did pass. And we already have a law in New Jersey that has passed, and there are a number of states now who have proposed laws, which is really wonderful. Maryland and New York and Ohio, Wisconsin. So there are quite a few states. And then also the main thing I think we really need to put in place in the United States is a federal law. So I've been talking to Barbara Boxer's office about bringing forward some sort of legislation on a federal level.
There's a debate because our federal government has just introduced legislation to combat this kind of activity. But as always, there's a debate about freedom on the internet and all of that sort of stuff. How does that balance out with something like this?
Well, first of all, there there are always exceptions to First Amendment issues. So you have exceptions such as child pornography and incitement, obscenity, fighting words, libel, fraud, discrimination. So there's no reason why you couldn't have an exception for this issue. And also, free speech is about public matters. It's about voicing legitimate concerns in society. And nude and especially explicit pictures of ordinary people is really a private issue. In fact, the Supreme Court has ruled that that First Amendment protections can be less rigorous when it comes to private issues. So I don't think it is a concern. I think that there's no positive benefit for society when it comes to putting pictures of regular people, nude and topless pictures of regular people on the internet.
I appreciate your input this morning. Thank you, and the best of luck. Dr. Charlotte Laws on the line from California. The news to 7 o'clock is next on CKNW.